Welcome back, my friends, to Chats con Sabor. This is part 2 of Let's Talk About Sex Baby, part 3. In part 1, we ended our episode, or we broke up the episode with Joanna setting up the scene at our local bar where Yvette, yeah, anyway, a couple was trying to pick me up. So let's jump right back in to the story. And I hope you've been just as excited to listen as we were excited to release. Yeah, let's jump back in with our friend Joanna talking about setting up the scene for you all. And then the conversation just continues to get juicier and juicier with our friend Sarah. And we so appreciate her being here with us. So here we go. Take it away, Miss Joanna.
He was
Smell
sexy.
good, look
Oh
good,
man,
everything.
yeah, he was.
So,
yeah,
anywho,
damn, he was damn.
he knows that she's like looking at him.
I have hard
Okay?
eyes.
I mean,
She
she's
feels
like,
it. You're putting a hole in him.
she's like pounding it without pounding it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he starts feeling her vibe, and he comes in, starts talking, starts chatting, whatever. And I'm like watching because sometimes I'm the mama sheep of the group, so I'm like piercing everybody.
Yeah.
What's going on? Who's
Sharks.
touching what?
Sharks.
Whatever.
By
So,
this time, Linda had come back from her Christmas party.
Linda was here dressed up in her little elf costume, which was absolutely adorable.
Adorable.
But anyways, so he then disappears. He leaves. And then he goes to the corner and he's just, I mean,
Locked
Focus.
eyes. Yeah.
on
Locked
Yvette.
on.
I mean, focus. So I'm watching him like a freaking hawk. My Saggy is on at 1,000. That fire is firing.
Burn.
So then he leaves. He disappears. So I watch him disappear, and I'm just waiting. All of a sudden, he walks in with. I was like, I knew he came in with the woman in my head.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, she comes in. She stands next. She goes, approved. I will never.
At Yvette?
Yes. I will never forget this. Never forget
Wait,
this.
who were they? Did we talk to them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay, wait. You missed a big part though.
Yeah.
Before he left to get his wife. Before
Yes.
any of that,
Yes.
Well, there was some touching and conversation and all that.
he came
Sexy.
over to talk to me, and
but
he
I was excited about the wife approving.
And
So
he
next thing you
literally-
know, they
he-
were calling you behind your back a unicorn. A unicorn, 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
I saw her. Okay, listen, I saw her.
Great. I can't believe no one
Listen.
told me this.
Listen, I saw her walk away, go to the front, and she came talk to us. I don't know. I Joanna from the bathroom. I don't know. Joanna was not there for a split second.
yeah, probably in the bathroom.
Yeah,
in the bathroom.
in the
Always
bathroom, always. And it was just Yvette and I. And I see him. I see her go to the front, and I see him approaching us. So I knew they already had some sort of agreement. And he's coming to us. I look at Yvette, whatever. And he comes, and I'll be honest, he was like this older Italian, great-looking dude.
Smelled fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker
And
for
then he-
smells.
Yeah,
Let me
and
just
then
say,
he's
I'm a
Salt,
sucker.
pepper, leather.
yes, all of it. Everything that is described in a sexy, spicy novel, he was.
That's what he
Other
was.
than the height, he was missing the height.
Yeah, a little
There's
bit.
always
Yeah,
little bit,
I know.
but
Yeah,
who
but it was
cares?
okay. I didn't care.
Yeah,
I
everything
did not
was
I mean,
care.
if
fine.
you're horizontal, whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, and let me talk.
Let me finish.
Wait. But there has not really ever been like a man, because we all were three different.
All like different.
There hasn't been really a man that all the three of us are like, damn. And the three of us were like, damn. He was like, yeah,
Anywho,
he was.
so so when she comes over and she says approved, I'm like, oh hell. My face just changed. I was like, oh God, this can't be good. So Yvette's already toasty. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Because I was thinking of family members at this point.
Yeah.
Her. I'm like, if this happens, I'm going to die.
Die.
So I'm like, all of a sudden I see the rubbing of the leg and the da-da-da-da-da. And
Well, because she comes and I'm like, sit here. And she's looking
overly
at me and I'm like,
friendly.
okay.
She wanted it.
I am not a lesbian, just like you
Yeah.
said. I'm not a
But you
lesbian.
have a good time.
Overly friendly.
But I was rubbing on this woman's leg.
Yeah, you are.
I was rubbing on this
See,
woman's
they do
leg.
This, like, if when you're in it,
While
you're like,
I'm
ooh,
rubbing
you're
her
not-
leg, I'm rubbing on his
Yeah.
chest, and I'm like, yeah, this could work.
You're like, yes.
After she had approved the
When
package.
Wait, Sarah, when I heard approved, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, hell
You're
no.
like,
It's time
going
to
down.
go.
Time to leave.
I'm like, it is time to go. And I looked at her, I said, we're leaving. She's like, no, I didn't want to go.
And you're like,
And I'm
what?
like,
Check.
we are leaving
Oh my god.
right now.
But because
She's like this.
hold on, I will say this.
Let her be.
No,
That
we
was
are
me.
leaving.
That was me.
I could have had a totally wild experience, but going back to, but I would have been inebriated. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say
She
this.
wasn't in her right state of mind.
Yes.
One.
Yeah.
Two, this is where Mama Jojo came in. She wasn't in her right state of mind. One. Two, I knew that the female was definitely not someone that she would.
Go
Touch.
Be with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't
I mean,
that attractive,
no,
is what
she
she's
was
saying.
not. No.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
another big
Yeah.
thing we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you.
I wanted to be politically correct on that.
The couple ratio is always off. It's very strange in the lifestyle. You never see. It's rare to see two hot people. You see two not hot people, but very common. There's a divide.
In my
Mhm.
head, forgive me. In my head, I was like, you know what? If it was something that was like,
we knew that she was into.
Yeah.
and
You could persuade her.
let's
Like you
just
say,
say-
yeah, have a good time.
I
Yeah.
know your rules and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So let's just say it's you and Corey, a beautiful couple.
Yeah.
It would be okay. She wants to
Yeah.
do your thing.
Come let me rub your leg, Sarah.
Do what you need to do. Okay, I get it. I
Yeah.
see that it's sexual
there's this
appeal, that
vibe,
kind of shit.
this- yeah.
I get it. But when
But you're like, nah, this ain't
I'm
happening.
like, oh no,
oh no.
oh no.
She had my back.
I-
She had my
I
back.
I said I comprendo this, but I don't comprendo that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
And that's
there was too much of this happening.
Now, I will say this.
Oh my
Hold on.
No,
Okay, go
wait.
ahead. Finish.
On and then on the friend side of it, not only just because of the female, but I was like, you know what? She's not in her right state of mind to make a decision like this.
Yeah.
And I don't want something to happen
and her.
That she
and
didn't
her
want to.
regret it later
No.
and then say, Joe, why
don't
didn't you?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would
and
never
part
do
of
that,
though.
Well, no,
Yeah.
hold on.
We'll go to the club sober.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I will confess. I myself, through my first months of separation,
Yeah.
I made some mistakes
Oh, we
in
have it.
front of my girls.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did, the day after my mistake to them was, I know that y'all don't know when I black out,
Yeah.
but don't let me go home with anybody else.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking,
See,
If
just
I'm
say-
drinking,
and
but
they're like,
that's-
say less.
That's the thing with me, especially
So,
because
so I give it to her. After I said that,
Say
this,
less.
months later, this happens.
I
You learn
become
yourself.
sober in 2.5
That's
seconds.
me.
I'm like,
Your
boom.
mama bear.
I'm like, no, absolutely not. I said, we're going home. And they just looked at me. I said, no, we're going home.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking, oh, she's going to get up. She's going to regret it. She's going to this. And she's going to
be mad
come
at
back.
you. She's gonna be.
And then I started thinking, too, I'm friends with a
My
family
cousin.
member.
My cousin.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. My cousin.
This
Love
is-
you,
and
pretty
that's
much.
a whole layer.
That's a
yeah.
whole nother layer.
Yeah.
And
She will
I'm
kill
not,
me if I let her.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm her girl. Like I am
Yeah.
not going to let her make now if she was sober and she says, Joe, this is something I want to do, that is something
Hey,
totally
let-
different.
Keep
Mhm.
your
No.
phone on.
But,
Let me know if you need
yeah,
anything.
Let me know if
Where
you need
tell me where
to
you're
pick you up.
at. Yeah.
I'll go
But
back.
we were pretty inebriated that
Yes,
day.
we were. But I will give it to the community.
Yeah.
Okay. The moment Joanna put her foot down
And
because
said, this
she
is not
did
happening. Yeah.
This is not happening. The couple walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't leave. The couple
They left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They
left.
left.
And that's what I will
First-
say. They're
at
very
first-
respectful.
At first they did look at me like,
Who are you?
Who are
mind
you?
your freaking business.
Well, because she wasn't there at the beginning.
but then they were like, okay, and then they walked away.
As it
Because
should be.
I knew, first of all, I'm going to protect her over
Yeah.
them because I don't know them from a can of paint.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is they don't know if you were there for that party or not.
Right.
If you were in the party, they may have thought that you were a swinger that was just in the inside
Hold
of the
on,
bar.
we were not in the party. We were observers. We didn't get to see
But they
what
didn't know if
couple
she walked
left with
in.
what couple.
That's
I
true
will
though. At
say
that
this.
point, they were kind of mingling in
Yeah.
the front
Not
and
just
everywhere.
that,
So
we were not in the patio.
Well,
we were
and y'all
at the bar.
know, you
True.
know our, we're not going to say any names, but one of our favorite bartenders in the back,
yes,
Yeah.
the female,
Yeah.
you know, she worked at that.
Oh, yeah,
she told us.
yeah.
Yeah, she told
Yeah,
us.
she was totally transparent.
Listen,
Yeah.
the next time that we went, I think it was the following weekend or something. I had a conversation
She probably knows
with
them.
our with
Yeah.
our bartender.
Yeah.
Not our bar. She's ours. She belongs to us.
She's all right.
She's
but-
ours.
So I had a conversation with her, and I'm like, "Listen," I said, "I was told that I was being because I do get very handsy when I'm drunk.
flirty, Nancy, yeah, fun.
Like I'm sure I don't know if I've touched your boobs or not, but I
Please do.
probably have. But I probably have.
Love her
I
boobs.
love
That
boobies.
part.
Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get very handsy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't normally tend to
Yeah.
be like that with men, but there have been times
Yeah,
where I
she's
have.
on the vibe.
And so she was filling me in on all kinds of stuff that because she's talking about memory loss. I was really drunk that night,
Oh, bless
and
her.
I had memory like gaps
And she
missing.
drew. She drew.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, but I
And-
had gaps like where I didn't
You have
really.
blackout
Yeah, I was
moments.
like, wait, I did what? I said
That's-
no, I didn't.
She's-
I was like,
She
tequila,
even
tequila.
texted.
Yeah.
Well, she texted me too, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe." And I'm telling her, she's like, "I don't remember that." And I'm like, "Well, because let me tell you,
Just
I
a
I
package
totally-
situation. She doesn't remember that.
Well, and
Yeah.
that brings it back to the respect thing, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is what we're talking
Okay.
about. Yeah,
The thing that I will say about the lifestyle community, not everyone, because you can't say everybody's the same, but I would say 99% of people in the lifestyle have that respect. And that's why one of those rules for majority of people is if you are not at least here somewhat sober, like we're not interested.
Right.
And so they
Mhm.
may have even, if she started walking outside and she's tripping and falling, they might have been
they
like,
might have cut
hey,
it off.
you know
Yeah,
what, this probably isn't a good idea. And I think that's
Not
a
for
big,
the first time, anyways.
no, and I
Yeah.
think that's a big deal. And I think, again, I have the utmost
No, that is-
respect for people in the lifestyle because it's a difficult thing to navigate.
I mean, the decisions y'all make is the decisions y'all
Right.
make, which
Right.
I'm good with. But the pit bull does come out when
It
I'm
should.
protecting my friends.
Your friends, yeah.
And that was one moment that I needed to protect my
100%.
friends.
Well, and she's your friend, and you know that the lifestyle is not.
Something that we're
If
used
she
to.
was like, "Hey, I'm looking for an experience where maybe I could go home with a couple, and this is what I'm looking for,"
Yeah.
you may have been like, "Hey,
a little more open.
Is this
Well-
more?" But you know that wasn't what she
Well,
was looking
No,
for.
and it's not something that she frequents or that she
Mhm.
thinks about, that she shares about. It's
exactly.
nothing-
And actually, I was just going to say, in Joanna's defense, like she did come to my aid or my defense, because I have stated in the past, there is no I've never had a threesome, and that was
No.
actually one of the things
She
topics that I
doesn't
wanted.
like to share.
I don't like to share because I don't
Yeah.
like to share. I used to always tell my ex-husband, if we ever had a threesome, it would have to be with either another man, which I knew he would never do,
Yeah.
or it would have to be a dyke,
Yeah.
like a lesbian who's not interested in having
Yeah.
sex with you,
Yeah.
only there for me. So I would be the center
that
of my
so-
threesome.
Isn't
Super
that wild?
masculine.
Because
Mhm.
I'm mine is so. I'm more comfortable with a woman in our and I don't know if that's because I actually let me start over. I think the majority of women that have not been in the lifestyle would say that exact thing that Yvette just said, where
Mhm.
I would be more comfortable with a man as the third than a woman.
Mhm.
And I think that's just our womanly instinct to,
And
we're
That actually brings me back to a question that I've
Yeah.
had that you'll be proud that I've been holding,
yes.
even though interrupted a million times. I had a question about that. So you mentioned that obviously you jumped into this relationship as the unicorn,
Yeah.
but then after the fact, right,
Yeah.
he was more of a guy frequenting the relationship.
Uh-huh.
How did that look like for you? How did that make
That's
you
not
feel?
my choice. I think again it was toxic. So
And that's okay,
he
but-
preferred his Brian's preferred situation was we have a man. He got off by seeing a man with me
With you, yeah.
Ah,
and me enjoying another man.
okay.
But
But it wasn't because he was taking him too.
No. He was.
It was just
straight.
watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just watching. They didn't
Jerking
play.
off or something.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't
Well,
play
like you
together.
mentioned.
And there's a lot of guys that are like that.
Yeah,
With
they get
threesomes
off.
or whatever.
And I think it's
But you mentioned there were layers, so I wasn't sure
So-
what layer we were at.
that layer. I think it's specific to each relationship, right?
Right.
I think so with Brian and I didn't have a lot of say. And again, that's where that unhealthy was. He kind of led the way, and I was so broken from going through
and you
my
didn't
marriage.
know either.
I didn't know what the
rules were,
I didn't
or
know
what-
the
yeah.
rules
It's so
were.
crazy. I relate so much to you because even though I haven't done that, I could see myself
Just
following
following.
for it.
Just following whatever you
Yeah.
say, sir. And
Yeah.
what you end up realizing, it's funny I said sir because that's what he wanted me to call him. Isn't that weird?
Well,
That's like a sub-dom thing then.
but
Yeah.
it's also like when we read the book and we hear when we read the spicy books and say, "Oh, you're such a good girl."
Yeah,
Such a good
Yeah, he would
girl,
ask me to call him sir. So and it was funny because it was like he was telling me what I wanted, and I didn't know myself sexually. I was a vanilla. Mentally, I was going through a divorce, and then third, I didn't know anything about what I could and couldn't do in the lifestyle. And he had 20 years on me, so it was like you just follow along. So when he was like, "This is what we do. This is what we're doing," and it was bringing a man in. There was never talk about another woman or a couple swap or anything of that nature. So that was just what it was. And then, when Corey and I started dating, like he knew my traumas of swinging and stuff. And so it was not talked about. Like he
Can
did
I ask you a
not.
little bit more about that without going too much into detail?
Yeah.
Was he into the lifestyle, or did you introduce him into the lifestyle?
I think he's dabbled. I don't think
I
Like
think,
with threesomes?
yeah.
Corey's had a threesome, and Corey's a good-looking dude, so like women flock. And Corey, loves women.
Another season.
Yeah,
But
another
it's not
episode.
only that.
But
It's not only that he's good looking. Let me just chime in here. It's not just that he's very
Personable.
charming. He's very
Yes.
personable, and he's very respectful.
very much.
Yes.
Super. And I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like his upbringing or if it's the military
Military.
background, all of it. Like, I mean, he's super, and he's super protective. You could just tell. He always has eyes on you, no matter where you're at. We could be talking over here, but he's over here watching you.
me.
Yeah. Like he's got eyes on you, locked on.
That's
Yeah.
not what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
No,
But
Y'all are
Him
making
and Kevin are very, very similar.
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
well, what I was gonna say is no. I thought that's what you were gonna say, but not. But I feel like mentally, men always have this fantasy of a threesome.
Yeah, women.
At least of two women with them.
Or
You know.
foursomes or five.
They do, but I think that
Or
goes back
after
to
you
like
get past
porn.
four,
That goes
you call
back to
it
porn.
moresomes.
I mean,
you call it moresomes.
moresomes after four.
So,
Threesomes, foursomes, and moresomes.
well, what's funny?
How many more?
How much do you need?
Do you have all that energy?
I've seen more than 12.
Men and women, though, not just one
and I was
man.
not involved.
Not just with one man and 11 women.
Groups of at least 12
Got it.
people.
Okay,
You'll see
okay.
that
That's
if you
different.
were to go to the club with me. There's a good chance.
No, they're not if. We're going.
We're going. You
We're
need to go.
going.
So hold on, before we
Oh my
say
God.
we're going, here's the conversation
Yeah.
that my honey and I did have.
Yes.
So we are not going. We are
Yes.
not attending because we have our boundaries.
I love this.
And the biggest thing is I would never, and I have dissected it because I am a processor, baby.
Yeah, you want to know all about it.
I have dissected it. The minute I see someone touch, I am okay with a woman because it's the same thing with Corey.
Yeah.
When he walks in, his presence, how women look at him, and all that. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've seen it with my man too. The minute someone touches my man, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
The minute someone touches me, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
And there's no way around that. Not so much because it's something that I'm interested in or he's interested in, is because we love and respect each other enough
Yeah.
that we just want us.
You don't need any more.
We don't need
There's
anything
no
else.
extra. So, and that's a big thing.
Well, but hold on. I just want to kind of chime in here because I personally don't think that has anything to do with love and respect.
because it doesn't
Because
take away from you and
that's what I'm
Corey
saying.
No,
the way you
I
love
know
and
what you
respect
meant.
each
I know what you
other.
meant.
It's
It
not-
wasn't taken any
it's
certain
not-
way.
What I'm
No.
saying is, you guys have agreed to not go
No,
for
it has
whatever your
nothing to do
reasons
with
are,
love
but it's
respect.
not.
100%.
It has
Yeah.
everything to do with Kevin and
And
I.
you.
Yes, your
It has
personal
nothing to
relationship.
do
A
with-
million %.
with
And
you
I
and Corey,
did not take it that
or
way.
if everyone else wants to go
Yes.
see or whatever.
Yes.
This is something that him and I have discussed, and it is something that
you don't need.
we don't need,
Yeah.
and it's not something that we're truly interested in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that.
Is it a curious thing to see how
Absolutely, you
things
wanna
work?
know about it.
If I want to know about it, I'll just go ask you about
Oh,
it.
I can
Do I have
show-
to
I'll
see
show you
it?
pictures. I can.
Well, here's my thing. I'm going, and
Yeah.
I'm going with my person.
Which is
Okay.
which
I
is
think
fine.
it would be so fun.
No, let me clarify. I'm going with my person, but that's not me.
It's just too.
We're gonna go hook up. I
right.
will
We're not
tell you-
going to swap. We're not going to.
You just go to watch.
I'm
I
just gonna
would
watch.
Maybe get off a little bit, but with
Yeah.
each other.
Right,
That's fine.
correct.
That's
I
totally
would
fine.
say probably 50 or more %. I would say even more. 50 to let's say 70% of the time that Corey and I are at a swinging event, whether it's at the club or a hotel takeover or, a party like you guys saw at our local bar or something like that. 50 to 70 or more % of the time, we are not hooking
Participating.
up. We're not hooking
Mhm.
up. We're participating. We're friendly. We're talking, but it is like being with people, just having friends. Just like if you guys go out and then sometimes you go home and have sex with your man and sometimes you don't. It's the same thing. And I think that's a big part of it. I do think, like what you were saying, I think there are different relationships that want lifestyle, that are curious, that maybe are curious and realize that's not what they want. I love when two people can say, like, I'm content. Like, we don't even need to do that. And I respect that so much.
Yeah.
I'm actually more of that. But in my situation, Corey is the one that's more open and curious about it, or not curious, but, tends to it. And that's where, that coming in where I say, well, I could entertain that for you, even though it's not something not something I want to do, but I can entertain that if we're good. And that's where am I getting what I need from you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then I can let go, and I know in my mind this person is an add-on.
Yeah. I was just
It's a one-time. I hate to say it because I love people and I would never say this, but in his mind, it's a toy.
Yeah.
It's a toy that we use. He respects and he cares for.
Well,
but then we don't talk after.
Right. Well,
But the thing is, we love and respect you guys.
Right.
What you guys choose to do is what you guys choose to do.
Yeah. And I've told y'all our
Yeah.
rules, like no friends. Like, we have some friends that are like, they find out and are like, oh my gosh. And they start like getting sexy with us. And we're like, no. We are strictly no friends because we respect our friendships. Whether somebody would like it or not, it's not something we keep it. We want to keep it separate because we value those friendships and we don't ever want those boundaries. So we're very big on no friends, nobody at work, because work and play.
I
are two
love
different
your
things.
roles, though.
And
I
our
must
big
say.
one, because Corey and I are big gym goers, no gym, because gym is like work for us.
Mm-hmm.
So no friends, no gym, no work. And then our last one, which I know it sounds like a lot, but when you think about it, those are big core groups of people that you really just
And
don't
you see
want to.
constant,
Yeah, and we
on
don't
a
want to. We
consistent
don't want the
basis.
drama.
Yeah.
And then the last one is anyone that we have history with. So, even if Corey and I haven't seen this person in 20 years, and then we see him at a lifestyle party, like I told you, the guy that was his first kiss,
Yeah.
Corey was like, absolutely not. And I get it.
Yeah.
There was history there. So we have a very strong set of boundaries, with our day to day. And, I'm open to telling our friends about it. And I think it's an organic conversation. It's not like, hey, by the way, we're swingers. But, when y'all started talking about the swinger party, I laughed. I said, when I get back together, I got to throw it in there and like tell them, hey, I probably knew all this, people. But, I think like kind of to summarize, like the big part of it is, the lifestyle's not for everybody, but it's out there. I do see if people are curious about it, there's you can dip your toe in and get out if you don't like it.
Yeah.
But the 99% of the people in the lifestyle are so welcoming and so kind. And I think that's why I'm so attracted to that, is the community, the friendships. We have couples in our area, literally in our city, that we see all the time at our local bar who are also in the lifestyle. And we've gone to baseball games with them. We've gone to the lake with them. We've never slept with them, but we have an understanding that we can talk about the lifestyle and what we like and what makes us tick. You know, we can, one funny one, we all end up at this big party after a big grouping at a local bar. And everyone's like, come back to the house. What we didn't know is that half of those people at the house are hardcore swingers. They're ready to get it on. And then the other half of us were not. We're all naked in a hot tub, like 12 of us. And half of them are like ready to get it on. Yeah. And the other half are like, okay, we're going to go check in with the babysitter. And, you know, and it's just sometimes the worlds clash. And Corey and I always say the lifestyle is interesting because there are people that live for the lifestyle. And then there's people that live their life and the lifestyle is like a bit of it. And so I think there's many, many different areas.
I have a question for you. Okay. So I recently watched this, I feel like a couple of years old show, which is, I'll be honest, is very trashy.
I love trashy.
Very.
What's the name of the show?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So it's a show that I feel like it should have been a movie, but it's too long of a movie, which they made into like a 6-episode show.
Okay.
All right. It's called Obliterated. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a scene, and I'm just going to show it to you. I'm saying that because anybody can look it up. So if you
Obliterated. Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
What
Okay.
episode number?
One of the last ones.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay, I see them in
So
the swing.
yeah. So in one of the episodes,
Literally swinging.
so in one of the episodes, you know, long story short, it's a show about like the special agents, blah blah blah. They're trying to save the country. Okay. They're doing their saving mission, which is again, it's one of those raunchy, funny. It's comedy and suspense and action. Okay. It's one of those like, oh, that will never happen in real life, and it's true. It's meant to be.
Let me see that.
It's meant to be raunchy.
I'll tell you if it happens.
So it's meant to be raunchy and just
out there,
right?
Yeah.
No, not so much. What I'm about to show you is literally they're looking for the bad guys. They're at a hotel. They break into a door,
and there's people fucking.
So I'm gonna show you.
Yes,
I'm gonna show you what they show on the show.
Show you what they show
Vanilla,
on the show.
Thank you.
Sarah can tell.
So I want to know.
Oh, that's me and Corey. I'm just kidding.
I want to know if when I go to this club,
I can see that screenshot.
This is what I'm going to see when I go to the club.
I mean, that's in a hotel setting, but yeah, you can totally see that.
Are there swings
so what we're looking at is a scene. It's in a hotel room. There is an actual
you have a swing? It's an orgy.
Like a swing. Yeah, so it looks like there's a swing and there's a couple in the swing fucking, and then there's a couple in front of them that are doing it doggy style, and then there's a threesome going on.
Right.
Yeah, that could happen.
There's a lot happening in that.
Listen, I love what's happening, and then this couple that they have, you know, feelings for each other, or they're hot for each other, but they're in the middle of saving the country, the United States. Yeah. They walk into this, and the girl's like, all right, not here. And then she gets a moving, and the guy's like, are you sure? You don't want to watch?
So that's the other thing. A lot of these people, like in this situation, this could totally be happening, and they would have the door open, which means watch us, because a lot of people get turned on by being watched.
Yeah, they do.
Right. To even throw it even through a bigger lip for you. Not only would this totally happen, but if you watched it, they would probably all be switching too.
Oh.
So it's not like they're all just
switching
having
partners.
sex. Yeah, they would probably rotate a little bit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's a person right there. There's 7.
Yeah.
So there's
3 and 2.
2,
3 and 2.
It's uneven.
It's uneven. They're like, come in, Linda.
Yeah, a lot of
that'll be 4 and 4.
Wait. While you guys were talking about this, Joanna. Wait. Hang on to it because it has to do with the swinging.
Yeah.
With the swinging, like literally actual
swing that you put on the
I've seen it. Hold on. I've seen it. I've never used it.
That's for calisthenics.
Okay, hold on.
Holy moly.
Can I be a little too real?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, you shared a post this weekend of your daughter doing
The aerial silks.
correct, and all I can think of is like I will use that for something else.
It's so funny. So in we have an extra bedroom, and my daughter's a gymnast. So we have one of our extra bedrooms has like a balance beam and like some gymnastics mats. And then it's got 2 aerial silks, like these silks that are mounted into the ceiling.
Yeah.
And she gets in them and like flips and does all this other stuff. But every time we have people that come over, especially with other kids, we're like, oh, we'll show you the aerial silks, let them play or whatever. And every fucking time these people look at us and go, it's funny because absolutely would I? But because I know they're my daughters, there's no way I could. I know it's like a
yeah.
weird.
No,
Wait.
Let's before we get too far ahead, I want to bring it back to Miss Joanna. Because people keep telling me, Joanna, I feel like
swings.
listen, I have people telling me, Joanna seems so, out of the 3 of you, the 3 of us, out of the 3 of you, Joanna seems so innocent. A swing, ladies and gentlemen, a swing.
And gentlemen, Linda, Linda will continue to be the vanilla one, even though I'm done with the bigger mouth. I'm still the vanilla one, okay?
You have with me a little
Look,
bit.
I've gone. Look, the one night we were all out, and I got home.
Yeah.
There was candles everywhere. The freaking straps were on.
Ooh.
The fireplace was cooking.
Listen,
He's like, "Put this on." I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Kevin told us about this
sexy.
night, but
That's so sexy.
he left out the swing.
Yeah.
He left out the
did.
swing.
The swing was not used that night.
The straps were.
But the straps were. The
Good on
straps
you,
were.
Kevin. That is so hot. So that is another thing. Like again, I was super vanilla. Like I'm talking like we do bitch steering.
Listen, I've never done any of that, so.
But like there was no toys involved. There was no.
Oh, that was one of my questions too.
Yes.
There's no toys involved?
I'm saying in my
No,
vanilla.
before.
there
Oh,
are.
in your
But
vanilla.
now, it's like I'm really open to like that, and I love like hearing about other people. Like, what do you do? What do you do? And you learn a lot. People do bring like toys to the clubs and stuff, and some of the clubs, that one not so much. It has that one room that has like a wedge, and it's got one of those like X's that you can like get tied to. And spanked and
I
stuff.
wouldn't be able to do
But
that.
like
It's the whole claustrophobic for me. If I feel like I'm not
trained.
100% out of control,
Yeah.
if I'm
You gotta
100%,
be in control.
yeah, at least a little bit.
But I love
I'll be
it. I love
blindfolded. I can be
swings.
blindfolded.
Do you like
That's
to
fine,
be, like,
but
spanked.
yes.
I love to be
You
spanked.
like hair pulling.
Well, I know.
I do.
I was pulling your hair the other night.
You
Cole was
were?
like, pull your hair.
Ah!
I was pulling it up and scratching your hair and pulling it. And
I do remember. I do like that.
She loves it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
The hair pulling, the
Ass
tying
spanking.
up, the ass
Do you
spanking.
like
Me not
this
being
might be
tied up.
TMI, but do you like nipple play?
Not me.
Yes,
Oh
I
my God,
love.
Not
I
with
love
clamps and stuff. Is
Oh,
that what
I
you're
do.
talking
Give
about?
me it all. Give me it
No,
all.
I don't like
My
nipple
nipples are too
clamps, but I
sensitive.
do
I'm
love.
sorry.
I don't know. I'm too vanilla.
Sensual,
Like,
touchy,
yeah.
like nippling.
I haven't experienced that yet.
Do you
Yeah,
like?
I told
Okay.
you and I
Do you
are
like
very
when people
similar.
bite your nipples?
We're very similar.
Do you like when Randall bites your nipples? Does he bite your nipples? Okay, that's because
Boom, didn't do.
he's a Virgo.
Oh gosh.
But
So
I
you had a sensual night when you got home.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
set it all up. No, when you said he had the strap set up, like bed straps or what kind
Yeah,
of
bed
straps?
straps.
Like the Velcro on the beds.
Yeah,
Hot.
everything.
Ties you up.
Yeah.
You're
And
okay with that?
He was like,
Oh.
I want you in this. And I was like, I went.
What was this? Was it
It was the lingerie.
Ooh.
Oh.
Are you like a
Open.
teddy girl or like because I'm like bra, thongs, the like garters, the thigh highs.
It
I
was,
like
it was
sexy.
a teddy and it was exposed. It
What's
was
a
open
teddy?
in the bottom.
Wait,
Like
wait.
a teddy's a
Vanilla.
short nightgown.
Like
Slow
a little,
down.
like a little, like a almost like the teeny tiny dress. Like
Okay.
a little nightgown,
Yeah,
but
like a
Thank
little
you.
nightgown, but
hot.
short.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's the teddy and it had the slit. In there.
Yes.
You haven't done your homework. We told you 365, 50
Oh,
Shades. You
girl.
gotta
I
watch
don't-
them
I
all.
have 50 Shades. I've read 50 Shades.
Okay.
I don't know these names.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we have so many things.
I mean-
here, this is like what I like to wear.
Oh, that's
Well,
sexy.
the one I
had
is-
Oh, you know, it's funny because you would have thought she's showing you
the
some regular
vagina's
picture. It's a picture of herself.
Oh, crotchless
She's like,
undies.
that's me.
Crotchless. I love
So
that.
there's certain things that he likes that I like.
Okay.
That just brings out all the
Spiciness.
The
Yeah.
va-va-va-voom.
I love it. Well, like,
Yeah.
I think some of the really sexy questions you can ask a man is like, what's your favorite color lingerie? Like, we don't even ask those things, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they'll go, because, you know, it can tell a lot about a man too, right? Like, if they're like, oh, I like black is like dominatrix, sexy, like kind of whip me around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then if they're like red, you know, is that like similar? Sexy,
That's
hot,
like fiery.
That's like caliente, hot,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know. But then if they're like, oh, I love pink, they're like, oh, the little vanilla, you know.
It's
right?
black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's black, it's red,
Yeah.
it's blue because he knows
Blue
that's
looks
my
good on
favorite.
me. Me too. I love blue.
And I have, and so he has helped me a lot with, because I used to be like totally physically fit, so I was more
You were more
confident.
comfortable.
Now I'm
Yeah.
super curvy, so now I'm just like a little more
Yeah, you're
conservative.
finding
Like
what's-
I'm a little
yeah.
bit more shy.
Mhm.
So opening up with him is big because I'm not that open.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So with him, it's very like
I
I'll
love
send
that.
him like sexy pictures of me in lingerie and like black and
Yes.
hard.
And let's
Yeah.
not forget, we
The
as
spanking,
women,
there's a whip.
Did she just say harness?
She did say the
Oh,
harness.
yes,
She
women,
tried not
like,
to, but she
we-
said
She
it.
said the
that guys are looking at guys are not looking at a jiggly tummy or jiggly thighs.
Oh no, it's
They-
that big old ass sitting out in
They
there.
want it all. I just saw this meme and this guy was like something about put your fupa on my forehead. Please. He's like, I want a woman with a fupa on my forehead. Because guys, like, don't you love?
I'm like,
the
was he a
fucking-
black guy? I feel like
No,
black guys like the
no,
fupas.
Hold on.
I feel like
This is when I
women,
say real man.
real
Because
men,
young boys, 20,
Bullshit.
21, 22, I feel
I
like
feel like they're even into the more getting curvy. I love that
Really?
curvy and thick and asses
It's in
are
now.
in.
Yeah.
The
It's
healthy
now.
side.
Mhm.
Because you gotta remember these little 17, 18-year-old boys, they
Well,
want
no.
MILFs and GILFs
yeah,
and all that.
now,
They-
but
back then-
20 years ago, they
Fuck
wanted
no.
Lindsay
We all
Lohan,
needed to
Britney
be-
Spears,
Yeah.
and no boobies and no
We
ass.
wanted to be this skinny. No
Listen, I
ass.
just
Big
went.
boobies.
I went to the movie theater for the first time in a very long time with my best friend in California over this winter break.
Yeah.
We watched a movie called Baby Girl. Nicole Kidman. She is a fucking
Rail.
Stick.
stick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I can't even with her because she's so. There's nothing to grab onto, nothing to look at.
Nothing to look
I
at.
was like,
Hey, but
ugh.
Keith Urban freaking loves that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Same.
But Keith Urban, like, you know,
Okay.
But he's a little.
I can't sing to me
Yeah,
any day.
okay.
I know. Okay, here comes Gracie Linda that has had enough wine. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Linda.
Okay, so I don't know if it has to do with how
Speaking of-
stereotype has changed throughout years, or maybe media made women look very skinny and without body, so the wives wouldn't be jealous of men looking at women.
Maybe.
Good thought.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
I mean, look at Victoria's Secret models. They used to be all
And now
fucking
they're all
skinny.
curvy. And
Now
sexy.
all of a sudden,
Yes.
but why? Because we started changing that shit. And
Now
I
women are
Yeah.
women too are like supporting women that have curves,
yes,
and I love that, especially mothers. Like they're like the tiger stripes, like stretch marks in their
Yeah.
tiger stripes,
Yeah.
and a little jiggly stomach and a little like Corey loves that. Corey loves like curvies, and I love that because Corey's a slim dude, right?
Mhm,
Like he's
mhm.
small and he's ripped and he's he's just a slim dude. So I always was like, oh my god, I'm gonna drown him. Like if I sit on his face, it's like I think one time I said I feel like I'm really on your face. You know what this motherfucker said? He said it's cool. I can breathe out of my eyes.
I said that to someone, and I was like, "I'm gonna suffocate you. I have fucking thighs from hell." Like, and he's like, "That's okay. It's a good way to die."
Kevin said the same thing. He said, just fucking sit on my face. I'm like, okay. But if I'm hurting you, let me
Let me worry about breathing.
fucking shit. No, did they ever tell you to get off? Or do you
No.
remember Julia Roberts in Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah.
When she was in Italy and her friend was like, oh my God, I've eaten so much.
Seen all
Buy bigger
And
jeans.
she's like, I just feel uncomfortable in my lingerie. And she's like, have you ever gone in a room naked? And the man be like, nope. They ain't gonna say that shit. She's like, just buy some bigger pants. Like,
Listen, we went to, my best friend and I went shopping too. And I had to buy a size down and she's having to buy a size up.
Oh, bless.
And she was like, oh my God, I don't know if these are going to fit me. And and she goes, oh my God. She was in the dressing room.
Mind you, Yvonne is sexy as she is.
She's like, oh my God. She goes, they fucking fit me. She was devastated. And I said, listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. Okay. And this is me buying a size down. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I'm not on a diet, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Our bodies are all here.
Exactly.
Right?
I've never been on a diet. Like, no. But anyway, so I tell her, I said, listen, you will feel more confident and comfortable in the jeans that fit you, the size that fits you, and you will look better in the size that fits you versus trying to fit into a size fucking 4 or 6 that you're uncomfortable. You've got muffin top. You will feel more confident and comfortable and you will look better because you carry yourself better in this pair. Buy the fucking size 12. Who
if I was
cares?
President, I would take away all tags.
Yeah, seriously, just try them
Look
on.
at them. You know about where you are if looking at a jean.
And if if you put it around all the way around your neck, then it'll fit your waist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I will say, I feel like I've been a medium all my life.
Yeah.
But it went from being a medium size 2 and 4 to now I'm a medium size 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Which that has taught.
Mamá, son las nalgas. Son las nalgas.
What's son las negras?
Son las nalgas.
Your butt cheeks.
Believe
it's
it
your
or
butt.
not, our redheaded friend
Doesn't speak Spanish.
has a lot of Latina in her. She just,
Yeah, I always say I'm a Latina in a white girl body. I flock to you guys.
And you know what's so funny is my ex-husband used to tell me that I was a Latina white girl in a Latina body.
Oh, I feel like
oh my God. My brother
I used to be redhead.
He's like, you're the whitest Puerto Rican I've ever met.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
what my ex
why
used to tell me.
You guys are the white girls.
You're a white girl in a Mexican girl's body.
And then you met Erica, my next neighbor, who I also love. You didn't know
I was
her.
telling Yvette and I was telling Linda, I was like, oh my God, you guys would have loved Erica.
Yeah, and her mom is Yvonne, which is funny. And her mom is awesome too, because her and her mom are really close. So we got to get everybody together one night.
That is so funny.
She's so cool. She's
funny.
A very sweet
Okay, I have probably your last question.
Okay. Ask the last question.
Is this the longest one ever?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Estas son 2 horas.
Yeah,
2 horas.
we're probably gonna.
It's not the longest. It's not the longest.
But anyways, my question is,
okay,
and I feel like you touched on it a little bit.
Okay,
I had 20 questions.
Actually, I have like 2 more questions.
How about we just shoot questions? Because I know you had a book full.
Yeah, I had 20 questions.
Okay, and then I'll answer them, and we won't go off track.
We'll just right answer.
Okay, go.
Straight answer.
Interviews.
Go.
First one.
Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about how when you first started in the lifestyle, right? It was you 2 girls and him, and you never thought you would be with the girl, and then it evolved to just being with the guy.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? The difference between having 2 girls, 1 man interaction to just 2 men and 1 interaction, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you the difference. Emotionally, physically, everything.
Correct.
So when you are
and what's your preference? What would you rather do?
My preference, I don't think I have a preference if I were to take trauma out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a preference. I think they are completely different. I think as a woman in a relationship with a man who invites another woman, let's call it a unicorn in, it's a different experience. Mm-hmm. I think I'm more doing the work than her. Like me and Corey are playing more with her, making sure she's comfortable, because it's a guest, right? It's a guest in wherever we are, our home, our relationship, she's our date. A lot of times it starts with dinner or drinks or whatever, and we pay for her and we make sure she's comfortable, and we're entertaining her. So I think it's like you almost become the entertainer, the hostess in that group. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it's off of you. Now, a lot of it in that case is more on Corey as well, because I want
Why
Corey.
do I see myself drop kicking?
Yeah, you probably would. But I think a lot of it is Corey, like making sure he's.
I have to make
No, it is. It's funny. I'll fucking kill that bitch. Where I'm like entertaining, making sure she's okay, because I try to put myself in her shoes, which I've been there before as a unicorn, and it can be really stressful. Just if you're going into someone else's environment. Yeah, I got you, girl. I'll tell you if I need someone kicked. Should we knock on the door? Hello.
my friend call me.
Yeah, no,
The people's here.
The people's are here. Get out.
I need to grab you by your hair.
So I think when it's another female, it's, you know, making sure she's okay, because maybe that's my empath side, which I think we all are. But just being a good host and making sure someone feels comfortable. And I know, you know, being a unicorn in the past, like that's really scary when you go into someone else's environment with them. They're sexually know each other. They, you know, even down to like the water, you know, I make sure the lights are down to, because girls, you know, we don't want to be like full lights. And does she have water beside the bed? Yeah, you know what I mean? And have water beside the bed and make sure she knows, like,
hydrate.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, if you're getting a BJ and there's no water, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Especially when drinking, you know? So, you know, entertaining. So I think when you're in a relationship with the girl as the unicorn, I think for me, that's more of, I play hostess and making sure she's okay and making sure she's, you know, sexually aroused. And then, but also with Corey is like, that's what he likes. So making sure that he's experiencing what he wants as well. And I'm not taking away from that, because I know how to play with girls. So so I have to be careful, because sometimes I can take over and
I was gonna ask,
and then he's like,
you're taking my job.
Yeah, take my job. But he also likes
aggressive.
But he recently said to me, and he's never said this before, and it like kind of caught me off guard, because we're in that lull where we're not in the lifestyle right now, and he's like, oh my God, to see you like with another woman was so fucking hot. He was like, that turned me on so much. And in my mind, I'm like, even though that's not my priority or my preference, like my husband is, and it turned him on. So it's like,
that's what my
you do it. So okay, so there's that. But I think it's just different. So that's the women one. Now, as a woman in a relationship and another man comes in, it's a whole other. You can completely be docile. I mean, if you want to fucking lay there like a starfish, you're getting like, it's almost like passenger princess. You're like, you know? And
I think that's my
and you're
if I were to have
affirmations,
if
like
I were to have like some kind of fantasy or whatever, which I don't, but if I did, I think that would be like, I would want to be the center of attention. I don't want to do no work.
For a woman,
like, let me just lay there.
Yeah,
have your way with me.
I would say for a woman, single women, as well as women in a relationship that never experienced a threesome, I would say always go for the man first.
Okay.
Because then you'll get a full whiff of like you being completely like you're the center of attention, right? Where you don't feel like you're having to do anything. Now you have to perform. You have to,
well, of course.
But isn't there the possibility that the guys like to frisk each other? Or does that not happen?
That
in
is
the
a very
world?
small percent. Strangely enough, when I was with Brian, that was a little bit of a fantasy for me. And I know that's a little weird, because now it's not, and I don't know if it's because it was Brian. Like, I don't want to see Corey that way at all.
Right.
But with Brian, for some reason, like I could maybe understand that a little bit.
Maybe because he was more comfortable with bringing in a male into the dynamic.
I'm also,
the love is different.
Yeah. I think because I'm so, this sounds terrible and it sounds, but this is just me.
Yes.
Like, I don't like male gayness. Like, that to me is just,
I like to see them kissing either.
It's gross to me.
Yeah.
Right. I think sex is a very feminine thing, so I can get away with women because women are sexy and sensual, and we're sexy. Like, the act of sex is very feminine. It's sexy. It's naked. It's sweaty and beautiful and curves and, you know, hot and touching, and that's very feminine. You know, and so when I think of it that way, I have a hard time seeing men together. But with Brian, I think I was so checked out mentally and all that I think I could understand that a little bit more. And it was like something different. But with like Corey, no way. So
because most men are like Corey, probably, where they don't
want that.
They don't want that.
No.
They want to see two
They don't
women.
want that.
You know,
Because
they'd rather
he's
see
very
two women.
masculine.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I will
But-
say, like, in one of the situations, remember I told you guys I had, like, one guy that was regular, just so we have a name. His name is Leo. And Leo was very, he was open and very okay with everything. So, like, if Brian and Leo's, like, dicks touched, it wasn't, like, a big deal. But they weren't doing each other.
Yeah.
So, like, if there was any double penetration or anything like that, like, both of them at the same time, or they would, you know, if they had to, like, crisscross legs to get to a certain position for me, like, they weren't grossed out by that. And I respect that, because at that point, it's not about them getting off. It's about them trying to figure out what the best position is for me.
Right.
And so that was really hot. So I guess to, like, bring it back in, I know we were going to do 20 questions and not elaborate, but that's a big one. So I think it's just two different things. I don't really one over the other. Again, I have a lot of trauma with men. So for me personally, I would choose having another woman in the room. I know how to perform in that, but it's definitely more me hosting than the three of us just, like, letting go. Where if I was another man, I could let go and just be like, seduce me. But I also don't need that. My husband seduces me just fine. So I'm not in the need for anything else. So for me,
well, but hold on. I'm gonna ask again because you got away with them jumping in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I'll bring
How?
I'll bring you back.
okay.
Miss, let me jump in every 5 minutes.
It's okay.
What?
All right, watch this. You ready? You ready?
Questions.
You ready? Watch this.
Yes, I'm listening.
You said that would have been. It was kind of like a fantasy to you. What was kind
Which
of
part?
like your fantasy? You said that. I don't know. What was your fantasy when you were with your ex?
Having another man.
Right.
Well, I think because I never had that, and it was like, it was all eyes on me. And I've never been able to, like, when you can fully let go, kind of like we were talking about in relationships when we were eating dinner earlier. Remember, we were like, oh, to be in a relationship where you don't have to be the mama and you can have someone take care of you. It's
And
like,
you can be in your feminine.
and you can be feminine and sexy.
It always circles back to
Yes.
Yep.
And it's like, give me that. And you want that. So I think sometimes when you think of it as that, as in two men pleasing you that are not interested in each other,
Right.
you know, two straight men, let's say, pleasing you, and their only job is to please you.
But you did mention that when you're a unicorn, is the girl and the guy's job to please you because they want to make sure that you're comfortable.
Not their job, but I think that's
Most
kind of
of
how
the time,
people
that's
do,
the
because
goal.
you're hosting. Usually, when you're in that situation, it's the unicorns coming to you, right?
Yeah.
You know, typically the husband and wife, you're taking her on the date. Like, she's your girlfriend. Like,
Right.
so you're paying for dinner, you're paying for drinks, you're making sure she's comfortable at dinner. She's coming to your place. You know, she may be spending the night at your place. You know, she may be all that stuff. So it's like you're taking care of her.
Yeah.
And it's kind of both of you are doing that.
I think I could be a unicorn.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, because
Knowing
I've
your
never.
personality, you would be an extremely beautiful and amazing unicorn. Because, and I'm not just saying that because you're absolutely beautiful, but because,
Espérate, el cuernito.
well,
nose
because you
can
have,
pierce the sky.
because you have, it's a lot of the confidence. So a lot of times what Corey and I had to skirt around, which we struggled with sometimes, with some of these girls,
Yeah.
you know, they would say all the right things. We'd bring them home. We'd sleep with them, you know, take them to dinner, go to the club, whatever we do. And then, you know, they may or may not spend the night. If we were at a hotel, we usually let them stay with us, or, you know, send them on their, whatever it is. But then the next day they're sending, like, group messages and, like,
I love you guys.
and,
Oh,
we hang out,
gosh,
and they want
yeah.
this relationship. And we're like, hold on, we're fucking working today, ma'am.
Yeah.
And, you know, and both of us
We're back to
feel
our
that way.
regular lives.
Yeah, like, you can't, we're not looking for a relationship. So I think if you were going into it for the sexual side of it, now some of these couples are looking for that. So not very many.
So here's my heavy question.
Let's hear it.
Here is my heavy question.
Well, let's hear it, Mr. One-Off.
Do you ever think that while you guys are, and Corey, forgive me, but I have to ask this question. Do you ever think that he's maybe, while you guys are being intimate, that maybe his head is somewhere else?
No, never. Never.
Because they've had like a third person in their relationship.
Mhm.
Is that what you're asking? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
I
question.
don't worry about him. I worry about the other woman more than him. Corey has shown true that in those moments, he would never do something to a woman that he's never done with me. Meaning, like, he's not going to put that extra, like, a new move on her. I'm going to be like, hold on, you know.
Pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. I've never seen that. Or give her that extra attention.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of stress on a guy with two women, too. Like, they got to perform. And, you know, unlike us, where if we're not, you know, performing, throw some lube on there. We can't make the guy hard. Like, if they're not hard, they're not hard. And so, and sometimes they're not hard, not because they're not aroused, but because they're stressed. They got two women to please all of a sudden, right? So, but Corey's always shown true in our situations where, you know, he's never done anything that would make me feel uncomfortable. Like, he's never let like a, oh baby, slip, you know, or a, you know, or put on a move that I've never seen, or, you know, and when we first started, like, we had the no kissing, and then I realized really quickly it's hard to have sex without kissing. So, like, you know, but it's not over the top kissing, and it's not, you know, over the top this or that. So I think Corey's shown true in our situation that I can trust him in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
But women, I think, are some of these women have, like I said, like, where they reach out afterwards and, like, you know, want more. And I'm like, whoa, you know, and you got to kind of cut that off. Or a woman shows up and you think like they're going to bring something to the table and they lay there like a fucking starfish. And you're like, you got to do something, ma'am. Like something.
So it brings me to my next question.
Okay.
When you guys do get involved in these entanglements,
wow.
Do you have to drink something to get relaxed, or is it something that is something
like drinking
natural?
And drugs? Or like drinking and drugs, or do you mean like
like a sobriety of the thing,
like a handful of mushrooms?
Bud mushrooms, a pocket full of mushrooms.
No, it could be like a blue pill, but like they have like those for women.
I'm saying like alcohol, mushrooms, weed, like whatever.
No, I don't think so.
Wait, blue chews are for women too?
Well, I thought you meant for Corey. So
sorry. Okay.
No,
he's freaking 30.
Corey's 30.
I did not mean that, but she said blue chew. And
I meant like anything. No, I think Corey and I specifically, I mean, typically it's weird just to be like, yeah, come to our house if you've never like gone to dinner. So typically we end up like, let me think, hold on. Yeah.
Whining and dining.
Like the few girls that we have been with, I think it was like we would usually meet in a group setting because like the swingers usually get together in groups like what you guys saw at our local bar.
Mm-hmm.
And we maybe say, hey, meet us there, you know, so that way we're both in separate cars. We can see the mix and mingle. And then if things go well, we could say, hey, if you would like, you can come back to our house, or if not, let's, you know, meet up for dinner. So usually it's like the second time, like we'll meet. And then the second time we'll like, hey, come to dinner, and we'll do it close to our house, you know, and say, hey, you know, things went well. Would you like to come over? Yes. Great. You're at our house. There we go.
That was
another
one of my questions is bringing them to your personal space.
Yeah. They have to be, we vet them out. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah. These are not weirdos. These are, one of them is a kindergarten teacher, who we love. One of them is a EMT at a zoo.
The audience is going to be like a kindergarten teacher.
The glasses with the bun.
One of them's a mother. You know, it's like, you know, these women aren't, you know, some hoe on, you know, 9th Street or whatever.
Yeah.
These are women that, again, and we, you know, usually by the time you physically meet them, you've met them on a group chat, you know, in a group setting where they have a profile and they're connected to their Facebook and we're Facebook friends and, you know, all that stuff.
I have to tell you guys a quick story. When I was doing the whole online dating, on, I think it was Bumble, maybe might have been Hinge. I can't remember now, but I think it was Hinge actually, because Bumble, you have to make the first move, right? Like on Hinge, they can reach out to you, and then you just, if you like them, you continue on the conversation. Well, there was this guy who was like, me and my girlfriend were looking for a third, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, now you know.
And he reached out to me, and he was like, you're beautiful, blah blah blah. Like my girlfriend finds you very attractive, and I'm looking at his girlfriend like, ew. Like, I don't think so. He was very attractive, and I was like, respectfully. I have to decline. I go, but if you were looking just, I'd be all in, like, because he was super handsome. And that's
what I was kind of hinting at earlier. We were cutting to the next thing, but similarly to the night when that couple hit on you at our local place, and you were like, oh, well, he's really good. And Jonah's like, but she was not. And that's very common, and it's wild.
So here's my thing though, even though I was inebriated, okay, like we've already established that, for some reason in my mind, I was like, and I remember saying this out loud, and correct me if I'm wrong, because they were there, and they were not sober, but more sober than me. But I remember looking at her, and I kind of looked at her up and down, and I was like, oh, I can work with this. Like, because I would have been in that situation, but more because of him, because he was like, he was like, va, va, boom. Like, oh my God.
Like, I do think personality plays a huge thing. Like sometimes when you're at the clubs and stuff, like it may not be the first person you would choose from a physical, but they may be the one that lights up the room.
Listen, and she was like touching my hair, and she was like, I remember those things. Like she was touching my hair, and I was just kind of like, okay.
And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. So, and I think in that situation, I probably would have been okay, only because, and this is like the vain part of Yvette, right? Like I wouldn't even have to worry like what she looked like naked, because I don't care. Like,
that's something
you're irrelevant. I'm here because of your husband, which is so crazy. And here I am.
Isn't it funny how we do that? Well, and it's funny because as we've gotten closer to a lot of the people in the lifestyle, I'll like become friends with a lot of these girls. I've never played with them and never would, but just been in passing. And some of these girls, I'm like, God, they're so freaking beautiful. I'm like, they got it so easy and stuff. And then I hear from them, and I'll be like, oh, do you love going to, that club in Atlanta? And they're like, oh, it's so stressful, like walking around lingerie and, everybody's staring at you. And I'm like, is my stomach jiggling? And I'm sitting here going, what? Like, you're fucking hot. And then I realized, just like in our normal girl world, like we all have those insecurities, and the guys too. I mean, Corey, he's a freaking perfect specimen, and he's still, he gets concerned about like what do I look like without my clothes on, or what is, and I think it's just, you still have those normal insecurities even in that world. I do think that they go away much quicker, and I think people are more open to different bodies. Like you see a lot more, let's call it the numbers coordinating differently. You see a lot of 10s that maybe with a 6 and 5s that are with a 4, and you see differences, and I hate to put people on scales that.
That also brings a controversy of, is that why they're swinging? Because they're not with somebody that they actually find attractive with.
Well, and that's another thing you have to watch out for, are those toxic relationships that, are looking like, unfortunately, I didn't know the signs to look for in my first experience. And I think now that I look back on it, I think I probably could have spotted that in a heartbeat and been like, fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
But there are those toxic relationships of people who maybe aren't in a good spot, and they're just looking to, continue to have their cake and eat it too. And some people don't mind that. Some people are like, hey, whatever, it's just fucking. Where for me and Corey alike, like we have a very high standard. And unfortunately, like I think Corey and I in the swinging world, especially in the local swinging world, because everybody knows everybody, Corey and I kind of have we may be called like snooty or high standard or something like that, because we have a lot of people approaches, and and I hate to say it like this, like, ooh, but we are two good looking people who are young and fun, and we bring a lot to the table, and we're healthy, and we're and we do have standards. So a lot of people are attracted to that. Mm-hmm. And we have such a high standard of that coming back to us that we have to say no to a lot of people. And that travels quickly. Like, I don't sleep with anybody unless they're this or that. And that's okay with us. Like, we are very like, I don't care what people think. This is who we are. Now, are we mean to anybody? Absolutely not. We go to parties and we talk to everybody. Oh my gosh. I got to tell you about this one party. I know we're on like the longest podcast ever. And Corey's probably like wondering where I am. I just texted him. I was like, sorry, longest party ever. But
I do that with Kevin too. I was like, we're running a little late.
Yeah,
it's getting good.
It's such good shit though. And I know this is such like fun stuff to talk about. And now like talking to people that are not in the lifestyle, it's super fun. But Corey and I, when we first got in the lifestyle together, because remember we were together for a long time before he even mentioned like, hey, that's something I'm interested in. And he knew I was in that in the past, but he knew I had trauma. So it was very delicate, but he was like, okay, so we jumped in and we, set up our little profile in the big community and whatnot. And there was it was a holiday. Oh, it was St. Patrick's Day this past year. Mm-hmm. And there was this house party in Canton, and it was like pretty exclusive. Like they only had a certain number of tickets and they only had like 10 left, and it was really close. And I was like, oh, if it's that exclusive, there must be like
hot
people.
Yeah. Saucy.
Y'all.
Oh, wow. Bunch of old people.
It was at this house, and the house was, big, but it was like a big basement party, whatever. There's probably 100 to 150 people. There's a lot of people there.
That's a lot of people,
It was a full setup. I mean, it was a full bar downstairs.
I thought you were going to say like 30.
I know.
Oh, no. I mean, you couldn't move down there. And, but I will tell you, Corey and I were the 10s of the party, and everybody else was maybe a 2. And I don't mean that in like, to be rude, like,
I would have walked out. I would have been like, babe, we're leaving. We're going. Bye.
We hung out and tried to like make face. And there was like 1 or 2 other people that this is so fucking mean. I sound like such a mean girl.
No.
Talking about being naked and the things you do. Some of these people, y'all, when I tell you that there are things that should not be seen. And the problem wasn't, if you want to see that, that's fine. But we couldn't not see it because it's in the middle of a basement with 200 people or 100 people. And I'm talking
so it was like everybody like lingerie?
Oh, naked.
Oh, fully naked?
When I tell you 90-year-old men.
Balls hanging to their damn knees. Boobs hanging to their damn knees.
Even. I've never seen a butt in person that it literally, the skin flap under the butt was
Eran como chicharrones.
The skin flap, this thing, was down here.
Oh,
chicharrones, muchacha.
Chicharrones.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's awful.
And Corey looked at me and he was like, and this was Corey's first experience.
That's the only one.
That was his first experience?
Oh, we had this one couple that came up to us. They had business cards. And they like contacted us with the QR code and everything. And we were like, so what do you guys do? Like, we're entertaining it, just being like nice.
Poor
and
Corey.
Nice to meet you. And
oh my God. I would have been looking at you like, why are you involved in this? I don't understand.
Yes. They did this. This couple were Civil War reenactment people.
This is the time that y'all need video. Trust me, the video's coming, but my face at that very moment would have been priceless.
Yeah, and then you think about this, right? So these are the people that interact, and they're playing. The DJ's playing a game where like all the
I'm
girls
seeing
got
him
these
in a red coat,
beads, and you can ask somebody to do something and you get their beads. So women are walking around like, let me see your dick, and let me see. You're seeing all sorts of shit. And Corey and I are just looking at each other like,
what?
I don't want to see that. Where do we look? Right there. Like it was. So again, there were different groups.
I'm dying.
Y'all would have been So you have to vet out the guest list before you arrive at parties.
Can you take a picture of our faces right now?
Yeah. I wish Corey was here just to like.
Oh my God, Corey! Corey's so animated too. I would have his face right now.
Poor Corey.
And then his one-liners, because he has some zingers.
Oh my
He's
God.
like,
oh my God.
So you gotta ask Corey and be like, tell me about y'all's first swinger party on St. Patrick's Day.
We definitely have to
and long story short, we spent like, $200 on these tickets because now the people that host them, they do a good job. They get the cool place. Like, and it was a cool house with lots of bedrooms for freaky play. And, every bedroom has condoms and clean sheets and they have food.
It was just not age appropriate for you guys.
We were by far the youngest.
Oh my God.
No wonder you guys were the popular
by far.
And both of you together were the unicorn.
They were the tall drinks of water. I always say, Sarah, she's a tall drink of water.
Yeah, it was a lot. And poor Corey, he was like, shit. And I go, we got to find another group. And we did.
Oh,
and that's the thing
my gosh,
is like,
that's so funny.
But I hate to say it, like, if you're in a certain age group or a certain fitness level, and you're into that type, into swinging, like there's different groups that hang and you start to realize like, oh, that group is more older people, or this is the lake people who hang out on yachts and are in micro bikinis.
Yeah.
And then this people is like the normal people, the teachers and the firefighters, and everybody's kind of normal. And then you do find those different groups, and it takes a minute.
Firefighters.
Oh, wait a minute! Is this why you live here?
No. Don't mention it in front of Kevin. She's like in front of Kevin. Okay. I have zero qualms about firefighters.
I know we're having fun.
Oh my God, Kevin's
I know we're having
We are having lots of fun, but
I actually have a more serious question.
Let's hear
it.
Okay. So going back to your initial relationship, or what walked you?
Still stuck on that
with Brian. Well, because I feel like
the reason why is because based on the conversation today, I have come to realize that the boundaries and relationships she had in her first relationships is not the same that she has with Corey now.
Oh, 100%.
So that's
she mentioned that.
It's
already.
marriage and love.
Not necessarily, but like, for example.
Oh, how different it is.
Yes. So
very vanilla, very in my first, and then
my question is.
Yeah.
My question is, emotionally wise.
Yeah.
Emotionally wise, and I know that you mentioned that you were not in your healthiest place and whatnot. Did you fall in love with Brian?
I did.
Did you think of her as just a friend, or did you kind of fall in love with her too?
No, I think I fell in love with her and him at the same time.
Okay.
I think I fell in love with her as like friendship and almost like a best friend fall in love.
Beautiful connection.
It was a very deep connection. I think it's funny to say like I still love her because now it's almost like an even deeper love because I know what she went through.
Yeah.
With him. And I went through that, like the abuse and the trauma and stuff. And so looking back, I where she was so broken and all that, I feel more connected to her.
Yeah.
I think I was in love with Brian. I was in love with the person he could be. But I was infatuated with the person he was.
So, did you ever think this could be your lifestyle? Meaning, you will be the third wheel forever and ever? No. You always knew it was a temporary thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly would have never thought that they would break up and I would stay with him. I thought if anything, I would realize like,
this will never work.
I'm not a third and I go off and I find a man because I am very relationship driven. I don't do well on my own. I like companionship. So for me, like that was a learning experience, and I'm thankful for it. Even though it's still like I told y'all, I packed my suitcase, but things still fall out, and there's a lot of trauma there. But I'm thankful for the introduction to the lifestyle, even in the negative space that it kind of ended in. Because I do love that lifestyle group, and if I could hang out with the lifestyle people all the time, I would. What? What are y'all saying?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Nothing.
It's
Okay.
just the two of us.
All right. We are 2.5 hours in. And of course, even with my editing, I am not going to edit a lot of this out because this is all
some good shit.
I want to thank you so much for joining us.
We're going to have a part 2.
Yes, we're going to have you back.
Yeah, and I would love
definitely
any listeners that have questions to I think you guys
make comments.
Comment that, and then in our next episode we could answer some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always end our episodes with some words of wisdom, and it's my turn today. It's not about who likes you or is interested in you. It's about who is brave enough to decide to take the risk of pursuing you intentionally and consistently with the decision to keep choosing you, followed by words that match their actions.
Ooh, that's a deep one.
Swifty heart.
Yeah,
I think it pays homage to what you were talking about, because when we, like Linda said, when we first started talking about this, she and I were of the same mindset where we were like, swinging to us meant 2 couples swapping and that was it.
Yeah.
You have opened the 3 of us.
It was 3 of us.
So, but you have opened our eyes to the fact that it's more about the connection and relationships that come along with the sexual escapades or expansion of your sexuality. It literally comes back to relationships and connections, which we've talked about a lot in our podcasts and episodes, where we know that sex is not just sex. It can be very transactional, but for the most part, when you're building those types of relationships, even outside of a one-on-one connection, even when you're inviting somebody from the outside, a lot of times it does have to do with the connection between, do we vibe, the 3 of us, the 4 of us, the 5 of us, the moresomes, the moresomes of us. Yeah. So, I mean, it just, thank you for opening our eyes to that.
I love the fact, not only that we're friends and that you're comfortable enough to bring this to us and talk to us and just educate us on what this lifestyle is like. We truly appreciate you and love you both. So, I mean, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I have to say thank you for Corey, because he obviously knew this was what I was going to talk about. And, it's a lot of our life, and, whether it's current or past or what it will be in the future. But,
maybe he'll join us next time. Give his
insight.
Oh my God. That would be cool. We can pick his brain.
Oh my God, his zingers would be fantastic.
Listen to it.
We love a male's perspective. Like, I mean, because we're 4 females here talking about this stuff, and you're talking about your side of it. So we totally be interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would love to join.
Definitely. All righty, people.
We've had our partners too chime in.
Yes.
So it's good to hear your partner come in. And,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'll talk about it.
Thank you so much for joining us on Chats con Sabor.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Hasta luego.
Adios, amigos.